We're asked to solve this compound inequality, and you can see we've got two parts. We have this 5x over here, and then an or plus 5 plus x over on this side. So when I do these, usually what I do is I put them on two sides of my paper. So I'm gonna show you that, and I just usually kind of run them both down at the same time. You can obviously do them one at a time if you wanted. There's no real reason to do it either way. It's just kind of usually what I do. I usually kind of almost divide my paper in half, and I'm going to do each on each side. And obviously you could do one side then the other. I tend to bounce back and forth, but that's up to you. So this is 5x minus 5 negative 5. Okay, and I'm going to put my or up here to remind myself when I get to the end. Then over here I actually just have to subtract the 5, so I have x. Well, that one's done. That was nice. So now I'm going to go finish this other one. There was a negative in here that I lost. So now I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So 5x, and then that's going to be a 0. Now, even though we have a negative, we don't have to flip anything because we're not multiplying or dividing. So here I'm going to divide by 5, but because this is positive, I don't do anything to it. If this had been a negative 5, I would have had to flip that inequality. And like over here, subtracting by a negative is fine. It's just if I multiply or divide. So then my solutions are right here. These are my two solutions, right? Now what I want to do is I want to graph them because they're asking for the answer in interval notation, and it just depends on what they want. I could say, or this could be an answer. It depends on what they're asking for, but usually it helps me to graph this first. A lot of times you'll be asked for the graph because then it's easy for me to see how this works. Or means I include everything. So in this case, starting at x is greater than 0. So that's what this one says. Then this one over here, this one says, I'm going here to 6. 6 is less, x is less than 6. So you can see here, I'm going to include everything. Had this been and, I would just have the overlap. But because it's or, I want everything. This is the whole graph, right? So the answer is negative infinity to positive infinity, or all reals, okay? So this, once we graph it, we can clearly see, oh, there's an overlap here. We're going both ways. This means any number fulfills these requirements because it's or. So remember that or, we're going to use everything. Had this been and, the answer would have just been between 0 and 6. Now inclusive because we had or equals on the bottom. So just kind of a heads up there what to pay attention to, or we use it all, and we're just going to use the overlap. And that's probably the biggest kind of little thing, as well as, multiplying and dividing by negatives that you got to watch out for, because it's easy to get to the answer and think you have it and realize, oh, no, I was supposed to look at the whole picture and see what it does, because we want to take these, and if we can give one complete answer, that's better. Sometimes you'll have a union. I go from here because you've got, each end going off. So you might then have that union situation like we had some of the other example problems.